everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. First of all, a shout out to our main sponsors, Rising Suns, the award-winning brewery in Cork. If you're around the place, pop in for a nice brew. And it's great to say that I have Slung From A Tree in the house. I have Eoghan and
yes, sir.
Eoghan on visual and Aaron on sound. Calling Aaron.
I love doing these lads, man. Slung From A Tree, you're the fucking best. This is exactly what you'd expect. Fucking Alou there, cruising through the porn sites. Doing a podcast on the side. I love it.
Working man. Has to be done.
And welcome back, Howard.
Oh, fuck yeah. How are we doing?
There was no way you were missing. There was no way you were missing this one, Howard, right?
No. Fuck it. Yeah, I had to jump in.
Yeah, same team as 2021 February, I think it was at the time. Aaron, you were there with Mike, your minder / manager /
our manager,
bodyguard, and what other nefarious stuff that you were getting up to down in Tralee in a community hall.
Dancing hall, old dancing hall. This is different.
Stealing Wi-Fi.
Stealing Wi-Fi.
Aaron, that video had something like 450 views. Do you know that?
Fuck. Would that be a good feel like?
Yes, it would be a good feel, considering.
No, but you know, like some things, you know, you put them on like with the distro kid, you know, you put it on YouTube and it's like hard to get to kind of, you know.
Yeah, but
that was good. When did you say that was 21? Was it?
Yeah, 21. Yeah, and when I finished when I finished the show, I said, lads, looking forward to the release, and hopefully it'll be out this year, which was 2021. And now in 2023, we have White Smoke. There has been a new pope of sludgy slime, and it is Slung From A Tree have finally got their shit together and releasing an album.
I don't know if you say we got our shit together, but
no, I wouldn't say that either. But we're delighted, delighted to have you here to talk about it. Isn't that right, Howard? It's been a while.
Delighted. It's been a while and it's been coming, and fucking it's been one of the bands I've been looking forward to seeing something come out of. But I think that's 13, 14 months ago is quite a long fucking time. But it happens, doesn't it, when you think you're on the finishing line and the next thing there's another thing fucking thrown in the mix and something goes wrong or something needs readdressing, and all of a sudden 2 months becomes fucking 14 months.
Oh, stop, man. That's literally what happened. Like, Aaron, tell you, sure.
Like, I think we recorded the vocals like 3 times. I think we did the bass twice then for a few songs, you know, just kind of, you know, going back to it, and it didn't sound right compared to the other ones, or, you know, that kind of shit. Like, basically.
It was a process, to say the least. Like,
you might help them out.
There's a few.
Go on, Aaron.
Few hiccups, like nothing too much, but just kind of figuring out how to mix it, you know, kind of as it went. That was kind of the main kind of hold up, like, you know.
This is like an episode of Ghost Hunters where you're listening to EVPs.
What you say?
We didn't hear you. What were you saying?
Yeah, I didn't hear you there.
He said it was like, this is like an episode of Ghost Hunters.
Oh yeah, that's weird. That's what we were kind of going for with the album.
Is here.
I hear a knocking sound.
Did you ever see Most Haunted? Like, oh, feel that? There's a cold spot here. Did you feel that?
And I think
sorry, Richie, go on.
No, I think, didn't he lose fucking all the recordings as well on a hard drive or something? That was. It
was the vocals, yeah. It was. I think Aaron lost the OneDrive.
Yeah, the vocals, we lost, I think it was like half of the first fucking version we lost them, but we redid them then in Open Door Studios in Limerick.
Yeah, Joey was very sound there, in fairness.
Yeah, got him done then, and that was kind of it. Fucking.
Like,
that was I'd say that was last September, so around then.
Would have been alright.
Yeah, I think, wouldn't it?
It would have been, because then I remember just from the later side of the year, you were just kind of mixing it, and then you decided, fuck, we may as well master it as well.
So, yeah, I think so, no.
Basically. But like, even with Open Door, like, because Aaron has even mentioned, Aaron recorded all this himself, like, you know, through his iPad with a fucking plugin. Like, guitar, bass, everything was done. Aaron, like I recorded the bass on my couch in the house, like, you know what I mean? Sitting there, eating potatoes with Aaron, like, you know, recording the bass. And like, obviously Aaron and Steve did the guitars in their own time, but like, everything was done through an iPad plugged in. And when we went to Joey's, when we say vocals were done in Open Door Studio, we mean Aaron arrived on with his iPad and plugged them into his own mic and recorded on the mic. And Joey was nice enough. We rented it out as a rehearsal space. We didn't even pay Joey to actually record them. We just rented out the rehearsal space and brought our own gear. And Joey was like, you can use my stuff. So he was actually very fucking sound about that. Like, but yeah, R.I.P. fucking Open Door. That was the rehearsal space we practiced in town for years. Most, if you've had Limerick bands on here, I can guarantee most of them practice in there as well. Like Steiner, Tombs probably practiced there a couple of times.
Yeah,
like
Board of Attrition recorded in there.
Yes, and Steiner. Their new EP was also recorded by Joey.
Okay, and, so it's a big loss then for the scene.
Big loss, man. Big loss. But like, Joey's been there for the bones of 10 years, and like, he's been like this, like a huge part of the scene. And it's like, after a while, you could see it. Money started getting the better side of it, and you could see it was just more of a stress at one stage. So look, he said it himself. He was doing it for 10 years. He wanted to start another side of his life. So, but like, it left a big hole now in like terms of rehearsing. You know, there's other places in town, but Joey's is one in a million, because we could arrive on literally turn up to 10, because it was in the basement of like a kind of like one of the old, is it Georgian buildings in town, kind of the 1800 buildings, one of those big thick stone buildings. It's right in the basement, and we just arrive on, crank up, and like, Christ, there was never a thing said, and we would play ridiculously loud, you know, drinking cans, smoking joints, the whole lot, out the back, like, you know. But the dude was just so accommodating, and it's just a big loss. A big fucking loss.
And how much would you be paying for that room, Eoghan?
It kind of varied. Some days, like, say if we were getting 4 hours, it might have been 20 quid an hour. But there'd be times you might knock off a few quid, or it never went over the exceeded price, you know? It was roughly maybe 15 to 20 euro an hour, but there might be times you could have got it for cheaper, or vice versa. But it was never extortionate, you know? It was never extortionate, because like, the dude supplied everything, amps, drums, which I know most rehearsal places did, but it was just, you know, in Limerick now, you're kind of trusting people with that shit, like, so. But no, it was a cool spot, man. It was a really cool spot.
Yeah, that's a hard.
Just in terms of the tone on the album and so on, with the guitars and the bass, like, I know you're using that rehearsal space. Do you have your tone nailed down before you go in and record, for example? Like, Aaron, are you using your own amp, or are you using the rehearsal stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's we kind of set it at the practice, like, and then while we were recording, I kind of just, you know, kind of changed it to suit, and kind of.
So you're kind of adapting as you go.
Yeah,
it never sounds the same.
The bass tone is kind of set at the practice, and then just kind of make it fit for the recording, kind of, then, you know.
Yeah.
But no, Joey's was serious, like, Open Doors, fucking big loss. Like.
So where are you going to be practicing now, Eoghan?
You tell me, man.
On the couch, I'd say.
On the couch.
Yeah, we've been sound enough. Couple of lads in town were sound enough to let us use your spot to get a few gigs in for our show in literally like what is it, less than 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
So we've been able to rehearse
22nd.
the set, like, so that's been grand. But outside of that, man, there's nowhere permanent. We're currently looking into, one of our friends has a bit of land and he has like something that we can turn into a rehearsal space. But outside of that, man, they're fucking slim pickings. Like, there's 1 or 2 places in town, but they wouldn't be ideal for a metal band. Like, you know, like they're kind of used to people coming in, you know, maybe a lot softer stuff. They wouldn't. I don't know how they take to us arriving on, and as we previously stated about what we used to do in Joy's and doing exactly that, like, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
a similar story, I'd say, across the country. I would say, bar Dublin.
I'd imagine, man. If you don't have your own place, to go like practice, you're screwed, because either way you're going to be paying money each time to practice, and like it's just costs on top of costs, like, you know. So ideally you're going to want your own private place to go to. Christ, who has that, you know?
Yeah.
24-hour access is really important too, because a lot of times you come back from these shows at fucking 4 or 5 in the morning and unloading your gear and whatnot. You know, just we fucked without a practice place here in Cork. We really would.
Yeah, and there's only
fucking hard barrier to get past.
There's only 2 or 3 places max, Howard, isn't it?
There is, and we're lucky enough where we are. We've been there, 15 years now, and we have a good relationship with the owner. But we're always, you know, the way things have gone in the last couple of years, you're always expecting that phone call to say this place is gone now. And we had the taste of it during COVID, where it nearly went.
There, Howard? I remember seeing something like ants and a load of shit being moved out. Was that spot?
Yeah, it's one of those things you can't really talk too much about because it's been sorted out and nobody wants the drama of it.
Of course, air and dirty laundry, you know what I mean?
Keep everything moving forward, which it seems to be. You know, we've had no interruption since, but we got a sense of what it was going to be like. And fucking terrified, man. It really was.
Yeah.
No, we're up there. I'm up that room.
No, I was just saying we were looking to get into our place maybe once a month, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just between getting time off work, so like having a place to have access to it, that makes a big difference, you know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the album then, lads. I want to give a shout out also to Andrew and Steve, who weren't here tonight. Big shout out to them. The album title is Voyage Into the Cosmos. That was the single. How did you feel about the reception you got for that? I remember you emailing me that on a while back, and I was literally fucking blown away by it, man. It was incredible. So, like the feedback in relation to maybe mates and other people getting in contact with you when they heard that. I know you put it out on YouTube.
I don't know if Aaron's going to say much here now. You go on ahead and go on. I want to focus.
It was good. Fucking like got a few good. You know, it's good to hear from like, you know, people who've never ever heard it before. You know, like even haven't seen it live or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny to see just what people who've never ever heard of it think of it.
It got reach.
It's been fairly positive, like, so. You know, it's not too bad, like, fucking.
Yeah. Like what Aaron said was like,
it
was just. Well, yeah, it was just like there was people from all around the world in a weird way texting, like between maybe different podcasts, Instagram messages and stuff. It was just kind of mad, like, you know, people texting you from maybe Australia and America and stuff like that. And you're forgetting that, like, it makes you think, oh, shite, you know, you kind of remember it does go outside of Ireland at times, like, you know.
Yeah.
I hardly ever think, you know, when we're putting stuff out like this, I always think of it as, oh, it's going to be my friends that see it. And that's about it. Like, so it's kind of mad to see the reach it gets. Like, I think it got a great response. Like, I was kind of blown away by it. Because I think we just uploaded it literally pure middle of the week, not planned or announced at all. We were just like, boom, you know, there you go.
Old school.
Yes, we're not a very, like, social media band. And I know that's kind of a kicker nowadays and you need that stuff, but, like, it's just none of us are like that. So it's kind of hard to do it. So we were like, all right. Aaron made a very, very good visualizer for it. And kind of set it to the song. So that was kind of idea. That was the eye catcher. So we kind of banged that out. And then like a week later had it up on Spotify and stuff. And it's, you know, with the pre-sale up for it now with Curse Monk and stuff. And that's the pre-sale track, you know, you get. But You know, some people like I'd say there's some people wondering like this isn't a single, it's fucking 12 minutes long. Like, you know, this is an EP. So like it kind of makes you laugh in a way, but I think it was the perfect way. Just like I suppose singles are what's meant to represent the album, is my understanding. I guess so. Like I suppose this kind of represents that in a way. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it definitely gives a good insight, doesn't it, Howard, to what else is coming? The fact that it's the last track as well is interesting.
Well, the first thing that came to mind when I was listening to it was it didn't sound like an Irish band at all. It was really sounded like that New Orleans 1990s kind of vibe, or I Hate God, maybe a bit of Iron Monkey, Electric Wizard, you know, the English scene. Just something really fucking, I don't know what it is. It's it's a very fucking honest record, in that he just went in and jammed and played out the songs as grim as possible, and there's a charm to it that you just don't get if you spend, I don't know, fortune in 2 weeks in a big studio. I just don't think it would suit you, like, you know.
No, I know what you mean.
But the one thing about the album that really excels, in my opinion, is the vocals are fucking fantastic. I really, really, really dig those vocals. They really, really are fucking cool. So I think hats off to Aaron on that one.
100%.
Really love it. It's my favourite part of the whole fucking thing. There's a real menace, fucking just harshness to it. It's not for everybody, is it, you know? And it's funny because the music, you can kind of space out to it, but like in the background, you got this reverb-drenched fucking Aaron. I love it, man. You know, it's the star of the album for me, is the vocals.
Aaron?
Oh, yeah, nice one, eh? Fucking I just kind of, you know, tried to do them as full as possible. And I was doing them, you know, separate. I wasn't playing the guitar, so it was a bit easier.
Right.
But, I just focused on like getting the full kind of breath, you know, into the vocal.
Like the way I picked up on the vocals, Howard, is like back in the day there was a band, we all know who they are. It's Obituary, okay? And they released their album Slowly We Rot. I remember when it came out, I saw the follow-on tour, which is Cause of Death. But when Obituary released Slowly We Rot, nobody could understand a lot of what John Tardy was saying. And he necessarily wasn't even singing in English a lot of the time. He was just making up these sounds and creating this kind of vocal soundscape that didn't rely on a language as such, but it fitted the music. And I picked up with that with Slung From A Tree. It doesn't actually matter what Aaron is saying. It's how it's presented and how it's sounding, you know. So Aaron,
it's a vibe, isn't it?
It's a vibe. So Aaron, I apologize if you've wrote all these deep lyrics about frolicking through a field full of weed and stuff and space and travel, because I don't understand much of it, but it doesn't matter to me because it's just your delivery, and as Howard said, it's dank, and it suits it so well. Yeah, so that's my take on it. John Tardy, Obituary, man, you've brought that to Slung From A Tree, and you know, I don't know, was it deliberate or not? Like, but it's cool the way it's presented as vocal. Put it that way, Aaron.
Yeah, it's class. Like we don't really have any. We have lyrics, like, but we don't have them written down, really. You know? kind of interchangeable, you know.
I wouldn't doubt it, man.
That's one thing. No, genuinely, this is funny, Richie, because we've always said this, and no one's really picked up on it. Like, you know, I've always said it. Me and Aaron always joked about it. Like, but he literally just wings the lyrics half the time. Some songs do have kind of more set lyrics, if that makes sense. But like, a lot of the times, it's 150% winging it, and like, you're the first one to actually pick up on it and say it, which is kind of funny. I'm sure people have definitely taught it, but it's funny because it's always been a little inside joke, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I always said it, like, it's the riffs and the, like, you know, you see us live. We're a live band, like, you know what I mean. I hate to say it, like, and like Howard said it with the album, how you can tell it was just us jamming. It kind of it kind of catches that kind of a feel to it, like, you know, like it's not about these big deep vocals. It's about you to bang, getting a whack of like fucking, you know, 2 guitars and the bass, full fucking throttle into your gut, like, you know what I mean? It's bang, you know. I don't know. It's. But like you said, like even just the random ad libs, just you know, it's it speaks for itself, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's just,
it needs a fuck it.
Everything needs a good just bang. Then go to amps, man.
Aaron, which song has the most layers on it out of all of them?
It's definitely Voyage.
It's a Voyage. And they all kind of have the same.
They're all there's loads of fucking layers of fairness.
I think they all have 6 guitars, and then
that's not too bad.
2, or no, just 1 bass, and then some of it is 2 vocals, some of it is 3 vocals. Then
okay.
But I'd say Voyage would probably be the most going on.
And how many layers was that? Did it get crazy with it, or?
I'd say there's maybe like 6, you know, rhythm guitar, and then maybe 3 or 4 lead guitar kind of.
No, I actually thought there was way more. You've just built up this wall of sound, like Phil Spector kind of wall of sound with a lot of the tracks there. And it's like I said to Eoghan, like at one stage I was convinced I could hear a horn section going on in there.
Yeah, I had the clue, man. I still haven't the clue.
I'm gonna play that song now, and I'll give you the heads up when that comes in, and maybe you could talk about what you did just to create that effect. And you obviously there isn't any horn section in it, but do you know what I'm on about, Aaron? Even no,
I don't. You'd have to play it here.
Okay, cool.
It could just be a guitar, isn't it?
Oh, well, obviously it is, you know. But anyway, so this
could be.
What this is it's the start of Blazed and Confused, and it's just the section where it flows into Astral Gold. It's like almost this Celtic frost.
Fresh off the set list I sent them.
Yeah, fucking hell. Anyway, so I'm gonna play it there, and we'll give everybody a listen to what you've created. fantastic. It's so fucking intense and heavy. But yeah, if you're ever going to put a horn section there, now it's obviously just the guitars layered over, but it's just just like there's an extra guitar too there or whatever. But you haven't used an organ or anything, Aaron, no?
Nah, there's a small bit of like electric piano on it, alright, but not in that bit.
But not in that section that
That's
I played,
all
no?
Guitar there, that's it.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Nah, that's just all guitars.
Yeah, it's amazing the sound you got there for that section, and I'm always kind of intrigued how bands would work with other instruments that are not, we'll say, familiar to the metal scene. You know, the likes of crows and saxophones and some big brass sections, and you know, I know it would be class, and a song like that, you know, it deserves that, like, you know. But look, do you know what? We'll get a fundraiser going for
next time
for Slung from a Tree and the RTE Orchestra in the Opera House in Cork. Well, fuck it, the Scratch did it. Like, come on, lads, think big.
True.
Yeah, the Scratch are class, man. I think they have like the heaviest guitar tone I've ever heard come from an acoustic guitar, man. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, man. There's a band called Vernon Jane too, who use a lot of horn section stuff, and they're quite heavy. Pretty cool, actually. But what it reminds me of, listening to there again, is like, it reminds me of the fucking, I don't know, the first time you go to Amsterdam and you go into a coffee shop and you get, you know, you go to the counter and you order a few bits and you sit down, and then half an hour later you're fucking terrified of going back up there, you know? Fucking just sitting there going, how do I get out of here? And you just fucking embrace the dank and settle in for the next few hours, you know?
Get comfy.
Get comfy. It's going to be a long fucking day.
I actually literally only last week booked flights and accommodation to Amsterdam, so you know.
Your spiritual home.
I've only been there. This only been my third time being there, but yeah, there's definitely a connection. Like,
but just to speak on that, is it any ambition of you guys to go to a place like Amsterdam or somewhere in Europe, play a few shows? It feels like this would be something that people would really fucking enjoy in the continent in certain parts, you know?
Yeah.
Is it something you've thought about?
Never really. Fairness.
Yeah. Have to weigh up the logistics, like, you know.
How can they even do logistics, Howard? What the fuck, like?
It's the blessed thing and the curse with these guys. They'll show up and they'll play a gig anywhere. If they can be done, they'll do it on a dime, like. But it's just getting into the fucking place they need to be. The fucking play is going to be the problem.
Don't tell me about it.
It's like fucking dropping 4 hens down the middle of Patrick Street and hoping they'll all go in the one direction.
They will eventually, if you give them long enough, you know.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
No, it's just that we love you, lads, but we know the form, you know. How could you do a European tour, like, unless get Mike in? There you go. Get Mike back to the band, man, and get Mike to fucking do the tour for you.
True,
we'll have a driver then, at least.
A chauffeur.
Get Cavan horses back and get him sorted out a few things for you, make a few phone calls, and you'll be fucking on your way before you know it, you know?
Oh, for fuck's sake. But like...
Go on.
No, I wasn't going to say much. It's just we never really thought about it, you know? Hasn't come about, you know?
Now, but like, I always kind of wonder, you know, and as you said yourself, Owen, like, social media is an issue in relation to you not wanting to do it. But say, for example, okay, so this is coming out on a great record label, an independent underground record label by a dude and a half. Big shout out to Raj.
100%.
Raj.
Now, Raj would have quite an audience, and so this is coming out on Curse Monk, as I said. So maybe that is an option, or like if somebody, do you know the way they have these playlists, they have these fucking YouTube channels, they have these Facebook groups, Stoned and fucking whatever.
Yeah.
So these are all, a lot of these are run by Europeans that would be probably in the likes of Holland, Belgium. Shout out to Eoghan as well in Trezor de Horde. Yeah, and Utrecht. So like there's a lot of these lads that have their fingers on the pulse. So when a release like that comes out on Curse Monk Records, there might actually be an offer for you to do a mini tour.
It might get a bit of momentum going.
I suppose we haven't really had an audience in Europe, to even think about going to really, but like as you say with Curse Monk, it's probably open a lot of doors.
It will shine a light on you, lads. You'd be like fucking vampires in a cave, maybe, but like, it will shine a light on you, So, would you do it then? Is the thing we're trying to get to? Like, if there was a 3-night tour somewhere in, said, Belgium, Holland, and come back through the UK, would you do it? Yeah,
probably could.
Have to add up the costs, man,
you'd have to see what works, see what costs, all that.
No, but like genuinely would love to.
Yeah, definitely.
100% would love to.
Sure,
but nowadays it's just hard, man. It genuinely is. Like even going down to fucking Cork up to Dublin for a gig, costs a bomb, like
Yeah,
and I hate to literally sound so negative and just be like obviously we'd love to do it. And that's just a huge factor. Like even we all work, but even it's just money, man.
It has. It's because it's almost it's kind of out of the reach of a lot of people in terms of cost, isn't it? And that's just the way things have gone, particularly in the last 3 or 4 years. The cost of petrol, even just to get that place. But you got to weigh it up. Cost of adventure and cost of having fun. It's like anytime I've gone abroad to play a few gigs, it's never really been about gathering an audience or raising a profile. It's been about fucking meeting people and having fun and not really giving a shit if anybody takes any notice.
That's what I'd love to do,
It's not a badge of honor to brag about. It's just something you do to have fun with. You try looking at it like you're going on holiday and you're going to play a few gigs while you're in your fucking holidays,
Yeah, that'd be sick in fairness.
Yeah. So
it's just, as I said, it's never come about,
How could they realistically do a weekend trip, Howard, just for argument's sake, like maybe Utrecht? No, just for example, like what would you say? Like would they
the most efficient way now?
Fly.
That's the way to do it now. Is to get in touch with a good band in the area, a band like yourselves. You're surely you will find another Slung From A Tree in some place that you want to play, and it's connecting with them and having them. It'd be like now if someone got onto you from fucking Amsterdam, Eoghan, and said, we'd love to play in Limerick, can you help us out? And you'd be like, yeah, look, we've all the gear there. This is where the gig is. This is when it's going to be on. Show up, just bring your guitars and everything else is taken care of. And they'll fly in and they'll play the gig. I think that's the kind of the most efficient way. But it depends on how you're doing it. If you're going for 3 days, you'd fly in. If you're going for 2 weeks, you'd obviously try and drive or rent a van or something. But it's just a huge fucking cost. It's the easiest thing in the world and the hardest thing in the world to justify,
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like, it's just even nowadays, and as I said it earlier, we're not that active with social media, we're not that active with gigging and stuff. So it would be a challenge, but I'd love to do it. Anyways, if it ever came about, I'd do it.
Well, when you're over there in Amsterdam and having having the crack in a couple of weeks' time, make sure you call into places like the Cave and look it up. There's venues popped up around the city there that if you just walk in, you'd be surprised who you'll end up talking to.
Yeah. Are they bars as well, or
bars and venues, little small places that put on rock shows and metal shows, and
I was there it was either 2018 or 2019 when I saw Sleep in Melkweg, I think it was.
Oh yeah, I've been in Melkweg, great spot.
Yeah, serious venue. But the funny thing about it was we learned the next day it was right outside a guard station. Like there's a police station literally across the road from it.
Right.
And I just thought it was funny because like there was a Sleep concert inside there and the whole place stank of weed, and immediately after the whole crowd flooded out. And like I just remember one stage I smoked a joint with like the lad I was over there with. We're smoking a joint chatting to these Dutch lads, and I just looked and I was like, fuck it, it's a police station. And they was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is weird, there was I instantly like cupped the joint and was like, but No, it was
I love the way you didn't
hilarious.
throw it away. You just cupped it like.
I have to cup it, sure. I'm not the one smoking. It's not me. But I thought it was funny because we were smoking and these two lads across from us, I saw he was using a sleep ticket to make a roach, and I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I just made conversation with him, and then I realized that I didn't even know I started talking about that. But oh yeah, going to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yes. Brain fart.
No, but the reason why, this is all being brought up now is because you actually have an album coming out, and there will be an expectation of maybe 2 or 3 gigs around the country anyway, at least. And maybe there could be an offer from the UK or somewhere else that could warrant a bit of attention. And are you still with us there, Aaron? Yeah?
Yeah, still with you.
Yeah, you'd nearly forget about it, wouldn't you?
It's like Sam and Colby, man. You're just walking around the mansion listening to fucking EVPs and, motion sensors and.
Spirit, are you here with us?
No, we have we've the Bongzilla. We've the Bongzilla gig now in June.
Oh
yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. If ever there was a pairing, it's just a fucking one to have,
Yeah.
That'll be serious. No, like fucking.
Yeah.
We have another gig then July 1st.
Yeah.
It's Monkfest. It's the second rendition of Monkfest. It's confirmed, like the day is confirmed. It's July 1st and whatnot, and we're on the bill. There's not much more that can really be said. Like that'll be all announced over the next 2 weeks. But there's that in July 1st. After that, really, it's just been kind of hard with getting time off work. We've been offered gigs, and we just have to we just have to kind of sadly refuse most of them. Yeah. Not even refuse, that's the wrong word to say, but we'd have to kind of pass most of them because it's just hard getting off work. We all work in very different jobs, and getting off time between all of us it's a bollocks. The lads work in construction, Andrew works in bar and hospitality. Good luck getting work off in that. I work in Richie knows what I work in and all that crack, and it's just good luck getting time off. So it's just been a bollocks. We've been offered these gigs for the summer, and we've just had to keep it. The ones we have are the ones we were lucky enough to get the time off to do them.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah,
and it's just hard trying to get those. Sure, we had intended on doing kind of a 3-day or around, maybe a Cork, Limerick, Galway kind of a thing, but it wasn't working out getting time off work. Genuinely, that was it. So
yeah,
we kind of we said, look, we'll do the album launch with you lads. We're doing the Monkfest in Limerick again. I know it's 2 Limerick gigs, but then Dublin with Bongzilla, that'll be good crack.
Yeah.
Whatever comes in after that, we'll kind of take it as it comes, because as I said, there's a lack of a rehearsal space. There's a lack of getting time off work. So I know it's mad because we just have to put out a full album, but it's kind of hard to literally get time to do it. So it's just once this album is out and all that crack, and we have those few gigs done, it's just going to be, as far as we're talking about, just writing new music. So it might even be a little bit of a hush again, kind of write songs, and then hopefully another album or EP by the time.
I'd say there'll be a Siege appearance on the horizon in October.
Oh, definitely, surely, it'll come around,
Yeah.
But even John was sound enough to offer us the gig with Eve, because I was telling him we had intended on doing our own thing, and I sent him on the track, and he was like, "Do you want to do it with us?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I told him we're putting it out in 420 as in April 20th, because why not? That's hilarious. And John was like, "Oh shit, that's the same weekend as the Partalon rescheduled," and he was like, "But wait," he obviously got on to E, and that kind of was ideal in a way, because I was like, fuck, it was the lads from Old who we're great friends with, and Yi, and I was like, that's perfect, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was written in the stars,
down to the ground. Yeah, exactly.
We were delighted, because I think we at the beginning, I think we were back when we were supposed to play in February or January, it was when we were supposed to try to get Brigantia to play, and Brigantia are always a Hail Mary fucking effort, because whether they'll show up or not is always fucking going to be an issue. But when they show up, they're fucking amazing. But you know, you might not know till the week of the fucking gig.
We'll be the
But,
next couple to get, watch this.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Trailblazers, boy. No, we were fucking delighted. I think I can't remember how it came about. I think you messaged me saying, we'd love to do that weekend, and I said, I don't give a fuck. Then you got on to John, and John got on to me, and we're all kind of volleyballing it back between each other. Right? Like, I don't give a shit. But we're delighted because we wanted a third band, and it takes the pressure off a little bit because initially we were going to play for an hour and 15 minutes or something, but now we're back down to 55 minutes, which is fucking far more achievable from our point of view. You can make a more intense show in those 55 minutes. I think anything more is a lot for people to take. So it is nice to have that that volleyball below you where you guys are doing your thing, and fucking it's good because it lights a fire under you as well when bands like ourselves are kind of fucking operating away there in the background. We've been at it for fucking 25 years, and when young fellas come along and they kind of put it up to you, you're like, well, fuck you, we're going to fucking, show these young cunts how to do it. Like,
yeah.
And I love that. It's a bit of healthy competition and healthy respect,
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, inject a bit of youth into the whole fucking affair, and let's see how we go.
Yeah, I mean,
but I have to say, I have to fucking avoid you boys for at least an hour before the show. After the show, I'll talk to you all fucking night long. But for the hour beforehand, I've made that mistake before.
Won't happen again.
Walking up at home in Cork, haven't played a gig and no idea what happened.
Waking up in the back of the mic.
Waking up in the back of the mic, and legs fucking sticking out the side door, like,
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, and myself and Eoghan saw Molar Bear.
To say the same thing.
Yeah, we saw Molar Bear up in Belfast, and they were fucking brilliant, weren't they, Eoghan?
They were fantastic. They were fucking amazing. Like that, man. We were actually talking about that, the lads. The sound was phenomenal for that. The sound guy, like, I'm not sure who it was, but fucking hats off, man. Like,
that's
I can imagine.
It's a difficult band to do sound for too, isn't it?
That's what I was going to say, man. 3 guitars,
Yeah.
And it was fucking.
Get that right.
Nah, it was fucking brilliant, man. It was
Howard,
such a good gig.
the sound man is in the band 75 Tons of Beard. Is that what they're called? They played up in Witchy, up in
7.5 tons of beer, just as a band, 7.5 tons of beer. And like, Jesus, I've known the lads for years. I don't know if you remember a band called Casey's Threads.
Yeah.
From up north in the late 90s, early 90s, mid 90s. They were a hardcore band, they were fantastic. And Mickey was in another band. I can't remember the fucking name. They were a hardcore band. They were really fucking cool as well. But 7.5 tons of beard, man, are untouchable in my eyes. They're just so fucking good. They're one of the best live bands I've ever fucking seen, and I've seen them 4 times now, and every time I've seen them, it's just a reminder of how good a band can fucking be. You see levels to things, and those guys are just so fucking intense, so fucking heavy. A terrifying band to play with. Terrifying band to play alongside or to be involved with in any capacity. They're just so fucking good, man. Just the heaviest fucking band I've seen in, I don't know. And they're on this island, which is fucking even more amazing. As an international barometer, anyone who comes across these guys is going to be blown away,
Yeah.
So yeah, cheers to those guys.
So
did a good fucking job anyway. It sounded class.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah.
In terms of tuning, what are you tuned to, on?
C. Says I think it's
because it sounds a lot lower. So it's just C, is it? Drop C.
Yeah. We've always talked about kind of dropping it, like, but it's just with all the gain and stuff. It keeps it still a bit. There's still some little bit of clarity,
Yeah.
It's not too just drony.
It's a bit muddy, like,
yeah, it does get a bit muddy.
Yeah, you could go B, alright, maybe, or A sharp, like, but anything lower, like, and it's just
C is kind of moderate, like, it's handy enough. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. We were actually really talking about this the last time we were jamming, and Steve was like, C's like the rock and roll tuning, like,
Yeah.
It's like, anything lower than that, it's just starting to get a bit muddy, and you kind of do need to get, better strings and better setups and shit like that, like, But
yeah, you need good gear to delve into the the G sharps and the F sharps and things like that. It's fucking
But,
yeah. No, I would have thought it was C. It sounds a lot lower. It sounds a lot deeper or something. That's pretty cool.
it's probably because it's fairly bassy. I find the bass kind of almost compensates for it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I know it still is kind of it's not a very high tune, but like the low end kind of does compensate for the fact that it is C and not B or lower, like, you know, because like that kind of B has a bit of a punch to it, as you know yourself, like. But C is grand. It's a handy enough tuning, so you're not going to need to get these thick fucking strings and shit. You can run it in most setups, like, you know.
Yeah,
it's handy enough.
Anything to add to that, Aaron?
No, that's about it. We might tune down alright maybe for a new song or two, just to try it, like. But I don't know. We'll have to could tune up too for a song. Go to D even. Or,
oh boy,
something.
Jesus. Very progressive.
Yeah. We'll go back to E.
Back to E standard, yeah. Back to the standard tuning.
And
Very progressive altogether.
You made a great choice as well with the artwork. Shout out to Kieran Coughlin.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Kieran was great to work with. He was a legend. He was like, you know what we're like to deal with Richie, you know. So
yeah.
So you can imagine that, but like it was brilliant. I'm really happy
what
with
was
how
his
it turned
brief?
out, like, you know.
What was his brief?
He kind of, I'm pretty sure he just, you know, the image that we went with, it was just like, Christ, I got it done ages ago with the original idea for being a merch design, like easily 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When we originally kind of had the first rough kind of mix of this album, I sent him that, I think. And that's what he kind of came out with, a spaceman, you know, floating through with some ganja in his hand and mushrooms going off. And I was like, that's pretty fucking hits the nail on the head, like. So like, we didn't give much of a brief at all. There was another piece that he was working on that we were thinking about using as well, and we still have it. It's sick, but we just went with the current one because it was just handier at the time for time and shit. So
yeah,
it's just, I'll put it this way: there's no lack of cool art for the next while. I sent you that other
brilliant
one as well.
That's
that my mate's currently doing as well, didn't I, Richie?
That's class.
That one's sick.
It is.
Yeah,
that would
really
make
cool.
a great T-shirt, actually.
It would.
Class.
He's doing a rounded version as well for a patch, so that would look that would look nice and eye-catching, kind of. But there's no lack of nice art for merch basically coming, so that's the handy thing, you know.
And have you priced merch, or are you looking to stay in Ireland for merch? Or
we have it done. It's done. It's currently actually on the way. We got a batch of 50 shirts with that design for the gig. And look, they'll be available at the gig, and after that, whatever's left will be going up on the Bandcamp or whatever, you know.
Okay. Who'd you go with, Eoghan?
Merch Limbo.
Oh yeah, Merch Limbo. Okay, yeah.
Really, really nice crowd to work with. Really nice crowd to work with. Very easy going, you know. But they look great. The shirts look great. I think I might have sent you a photo. I'm not too sure.
You did, yeah.
So
will they be available at the show on the 22nd?
Yeah, that was the whole idea. We were getting these just to kind of have them for the gig, you know. And whatever's left after that, we'll just put it up on the Bandcamp, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Same thing we did with the last batch of shirts. We just brought a batch of 50 shirts and we sold them. You know, we always sell like a load of them because, as you know, Richie, we don't have merch. So when it comes about, it kind of goes, you know.
Yeah. It's cool. And like, again, it's great to have Curse Monk on your side now for this launch.
Definitely.
You know,
it's already been great. Like, Raj is really, like I told you earlier, that none of us are particularly social media driven. Mm-hmm. So Raj is really good in that side as like a PR almost. Like, you know, he sent the album to so many people and has been driving it, you know, sending it to, we've been featured in all these podcasts and different reviews and shit. So it's kind of cool because it's never something we've been used to. Yeah. So that's one thing about Raj, you know, he's a hard worker, man, like, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it's great. It's, as I said, none of us would ever have kind of gotten about doing that. So it's so good to have it.
Yeah, and
I
he's got
reckon.
some great bands on his roster as well. I mean, it's so important to have somebody like Raj in our scene, isn't it, Howard?
Look, it's a thankless fucking endeavor that he's taken on there. You need it. You'll miss it when it's gone. You should appreciate it while it's there. And if you have a spare few fucking quid, have a look at his roster, have a look at what he's got up there on his site, and try and fucking keep this ball rolling for him, because there's not many Rajas out there who are willing to step in if Raj goes missing.
There is not.
No. So a huge appreciation to Raj, and support them where you can. Cursed Monk Records. Check him out on social media.
Yeah, I mean, he was
good guy
at the record fair in Cork, which I was
just a couple of days ago. Yeah,
I didn't fucking spot that until it was
Same,
over.
I only saw it today. Actually, it came up on my feed. I was like, "Fuck!" I'd have actually dropped into that if I'd known.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's another thing as well. Like, even you are posting on social media, there's times the shit won't come up for another day or two on the feed.
Yeah, you miss out.
The algorithm is so strange. Like, I don't know if it's just me or not. Like, but.
And I would have always thought that type of thing would be the first thing up on my fucking feed and on the Facebook thing, but no, it came up to me 2-3 days later, and you're like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Like,
I like, again, I spend a lot of fucking time, unfortunately, on social media, but again, that fucking went past me. I saw it at something like, I think it was 10 to 5 Saturday. I saw it and I went, Jesus Christ! I goes. And I was up in Cork and all. I would have actually went up that bit earlier, I was going on the session.
Same, I had a few hours to spare there. I was would love to go in and pick up bits and pieces,
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I suppose it speaks to the dance you have to have with social media. Sometimes it's just no matter what you fucking do, it's just to go, the demographic that you're trying to hit. How do you defy that? What's the point in fucking announcing things if it's not going to be the algorithm for 6 weeks, or 3 days too late?
And they've changed fucking Instagram. They've changed Instagram as well. You're nearly better off now posting like the clips I do, with the band, it could be a minute and a half. Used to be grand on the stories. Now you have to fucking put it into reels, and that's a different fucking ball game altogether, because you could put on a GIF on it and the fucking thing won't post, and you've lost all the text that you fucking wrote. And that's the worst part about is writing the stupid fucking text about trying to describe the band and blah, blah, blah. And like, it takes time, imagination to kind of build or, sell the fucking episode. So you'd be doing all this, and next minute the fucking reel crashes and you've lost everything. You start again.
It's relentless, man. It literally is relentless.
Yeah. We're fools for engaging with this shit. But that's what I love about these guys, is it does genuinely remind me of the 90s, where, I don't know if you remember this, Richie, tape trading,
Of course I do, yeah.
And like, it reminds me of one of those type of bands that you'd get and you'd be listening on. I remember getting Raging Speedhorn on a tape, on a fucking tape exchange, and I'd never heard it before. It was just maybe 3 months before they released the first album. And just remember being blown away. This was the new Iron Monkey, and then they played a gig in Fred Zeppelin's the following September, and it was totally without internet or without any of that shit. It was just through a fucking tape swap, fucking. This is what this reminds me of. It's kind of it's on its own playing field and doesn't give a fuck about social media, which is great.
Yeah. Go back to posting posters around town and flyers.
Because you'd fucking listen to it. If someone sent you a tape from fucking, I don't know, anywhere in the world, really, you'd sit down and you'd fucking listen to it at the time, and you'd spend, I don't know, hours like to be sitting down and listening to fucking all these mad bands that I've never heard of before,
Yeah.
But it feels like Slung From A Tree are in that creative space, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I suppose that's one way of putting this, like, it's
cool,
not really intended, like, in a way.
I was thinking as well of doing like a few tapes for the album, like maybe 10 tapes or something. And 10 or 15 maybe,
Yeah. Well, you could certainly do it, but I think if you were going to do that, I think you should just buy fucking some TDKs yourselves.
That's what I'm going to do. Like,
and just fuck them on the blank TDKs and send them out that way.
Yeah, that's what
No man, you get a sheet of LSD and you get a luminous green fucking print up of the tapes. And away you fucking go 50, a limited run of 50, and whoever fucking listens to it gets off their fucking box.
Imagine print the cover onto the blotter, like, and just
exactly
cut it up then.
Oh my God.
I'm back.
Owen is sporting a pair of sunglasses there. Jesus Christ.
It's very bright inside, right? Not to be fair, like.
There's literally a shine off my forehead. And I'm right underneath my fucking kitchen light, like, so it's very I feel like a nice plant.
Yes, it suits it.
Photosynthesis.
Yeah. And we'll just briefly talk about like the bands that are around Limerick at the moment. A lot of them seem to be getting their shit together and releasing stuff. We've Steiner, we've War of Attrition, we've yourselves now as well releasing. Is there another band?
We've Tombs as well coming up. Tombs
with an EP
coming up as well.
That's correct, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's funny because that's something like I remember me and John joked over. It's like, because I've been telling him about this album for ages, and he's like, I think we compared it to Cork. It's like there's Cork time and there's Limerick time. You know, Cork bands are a lot more quicker with this shit, like, you know. And that's what I find what it is. These are all it's been timed well, like, you know, there's a nice consistent amount of bands from Limerick that are releasing stuff at the minute, like, you know.
Yeah.
So it's nice for a change. There's been a lot of releases, man.
And Settler
this year
as well.
has already been packed, like, you know. Yeah, Settler, that EP, I think it was a 3-song EP.
Yeah.
I think it was the other night. That was brilliant.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was Kieran that recorded that, Kieran Cullen, and that sounds fucking brilliant, man.
Mm.
Yeah, it sounds excellent.
Yeah, so it's really positive, man. What's coming through?
It's nice, but like there's been like so many good songs coming out this year already. Like, you know, there's been a lot of releases.
Oh, it's crazy trying to keep up with them. It really is.
That's good though. You know what I mean? That's actually
good problem to have.
It is, yeah.
Fucking more the better. But I suppose you're trying to fill through the quality stuff, and you know, as I said before, there are levels to this thing, and you look at bands, and you're kind of looking to the next release and hoping that that's going to lift the game up a little bit. And it was the first thing I said to Eoghan. As much as I love this album by Slung From A Tree, but Eoghan will tell you this. I mean, he sent me the link maybe 3 weeks ago, and the first thing I said to him was, next one's got to be bigger and better, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's the plan, like, you know, because a lot of those songs, Aaron will tell you, like, you know, a lot of those songs were written when we were like 15, 16.
This is it.
Yeah,
you know,
they're fucking, like, we've been playing them for what, 6 years or so, is it?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them would be.
Yeah, but nah.
So it's kind of like almost an end to an era, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know, the next one, like, will be all kind of like fresh from now on. So it'll be a bit of a change, you know.
Get in that saxophone player, Aaron, for me.
Hit the saxophone.
I'd have to get Mike.
And cowbell.
And cowbell. Yes, yes. I was fucking saying it. Great minds think alike.
Yes,
great
indeed.
minds think alike. But
put a few holes in the bong and play an old flute tune out of it.
But like Aaron will even tell you about it. Like, it's like he started Slung From A Tree when he was like 13, 14, man.
Yeah,
you know, some of these riffs are literally from back then. You know, come on, Aaron.
Yeah, I think it was what, 15. I suppose 15 or 16. But like,
I say we're young. When we first met, though, we were jamming. Like, in fairness,
I think it was 15. I must check, to be honest.
Yeah, either way, man. You know.
Yeah, I think Blaze is about the newest song on it. That was like that. When did we write that? That was kind of
around 2019, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it was.
So Blaze was the intro.
Yeah.
The first song.
And the rest of Mastrial, Gold, Low Frequency, Disturbance, Noise Pollution, Dim of Wit, Untitled, and Voyage, they're all how many years old?
Pre 2019, then, kind of like.
Yeah. Okay. So
But no, fuck it. You know, they've changed as well, like a load, like with added parts and, you know, taking
definitely
parts
evolved.
out and stuff.
But like that's
But
what
no.
it is, you know. Instead of now, you know, evolving these songs, it's going to be a fresh slate to work on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It'll be nice. It'll be kind of a fresh start once we do get back into kind of writing music.
Yeah, basically, like with two kind of new ones alright, we need to kind of finish, and then another maybe 2 or 3.
Right.
And that's the funny thing when we're like, oh, we've 2 songs. A song would equate to like 10 minutes. It's hard to kind of, mind you, some not now, but like there's a lot of times when we work on a song, it does end up coming into Lake Voyage, you know, another 8-10 minute long song, but it's just fuck it, man. It's how it is, like.
Yeah. We look forward to it, lads. Simple as that. So we'll just give a shout out again to the upcoming gigs. So the album launch is with Molar Bear and Partalon on
April 22nd.
April the 22nd.
April 22nd. Yeah, there's tickets available on the dolans.ie website. Get them while you can. They're going to go. So, you know, get in there.
Sell out, 100%
Yeah,
sell out.
It's going to be jammed, man, in fairness. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah. And what else is coming on the horizon? Oh, yeah, Monkfest. You've
July 1st.
July 1st, Monkfest. So they're the 2 ones that we know about anyway at the moment, on, yeah.
And the big one is
Bongzilla.
Bongzilla up in Dublin, yes.
Yeah, there's
what
that.
What date is that on? That's the 10 ton slug, isn't it?
15th of June.
15th of June.
Yeah.
The manor. Probably is, we'll have to check that there now, but like either way, it is June.
Yeah,
it's around June.
Okay.
No.
So that's before Monkfest then.
I pull this up on the phone real quick.
Bongzilla. Cool.
So it's before Monkfest.
Yeah, it's a Thursday night then, yeah?
Yeah, 15th of June. Literally just got it there. Is that right?
Slug and slung, huh?
I know. Good combo, man. Good combo.
Yeah,
I was only chatting to the lads there.
That'll be sick.
I met the lads at Carcass. I met Ronan and Sean at Carcass, and we were just chatting about that. And we were like, "Oh, that'd be funny, like, you know." But yeah, fuck it, man. Can't wait for it. Bring it on.
Yeah. And the actual date of the album coming out on Curse Monk Records is the date of the gig with Partalon. Is that correct?
2 days beforehand.
2 days.
420.
Oh, yes, 420. Sure, how can we forget 420?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you can get your pre-orders in now. I certainly have with Raj
Curse Monk Records
on Bandcamp.
Nice one,
yeah.
So congratulations again, lads, and thanks again for coming on the show, Eoghan and Aaron. Cheers.
Much love, Richie and Howard.
Thanks for
See you soon,
having us.
boys.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and thanks, Howard, again for coming on. I appreciate that. And as always, I end this with the most important part about our scene is support it, lads. That's all you have to do. Just get onto Bandcamp, support Roger, support Slung From A Tree, and there's plenty of other acts out there with new releases out and coming in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. So that's great news. Okay, thanks everybody. Cheers.